I lived in a neighborhood, in our neighborhood there was a cinema, and neighborhood cinema was very popular at the time also here in America when I came here. Every neighborhood is on cinema. And as a kid I used to go to this cinema all the time. Once a week they changed the movie, matinee, daytime, not in the evening. And they would change the movies every week, 2 movies in 1 ticket. And so I grew up with cinema. And I, as a kid, you don't control those kind of things. You're a little kid. I had a special attraction to to cinema, to storytelling through movies. Everybody loves stories, doesn't matter. Every kid loves stories, or music, or stories through music, stories through book. I loved cinema. For some reason I was attracted to this form of expression, this form of creativity. Dark, you go into a hall and it gets dark and you sit with many people, with tens or hundreds of people, and suddenly the screen lights up and another world, another reality is on the screen, and you sit in the dark with a group, with a social group. You don't know the people, but you experience the same emotion. You laugh together, you cry together, you're intense together. And so yes, but I didn't think that as a kid I didn't know that you don't know that there is a movie director. You just see movies, you don't know. You know that there is a fireman. You want to be a fireman when you're a kid, but you don't know that people make the movies. You take it for granted. Yeah, you open the television and it's there. You don't know who put it there as a kid. So I didn't have intention to go and make movies, but I had an attraction. I was attracted to movies. The main part of movies in the world were Hollywood movies, American movies. So that's how we grew up in Israel, watching American movies. Now the type of movies, Western, crime dramas, war movies, and now here and there we'll see a French movie, an Italian movie. There is, everybody knows, there is a big Indian movie industry in India. Even in the time, Bollywood, even then, even in the 50s, there were. So here, once in a while, an Indian movie will make its way to Israel, to the cinema. This was the diet of the movies. This was what we saw. But the main influence, again, was American movies. My background is, I am also an electrical engineer. When I went to high school and after high school, kind of college, I studied electronics and electricity, but I never worked in it, only during this short period in the army when it was needed, in the military. So when I finished it, I already knew I don't want to continue to pursue my career in electricity, in engineering. I was not interested, and I had always artistic, creative, urges, and I loved cinema. And nowadays, I finished my military service. It was 1971. 1971, yeah.
And then you came here.
So today, people can study cinema in Israel. There are schools. And there is a faculty in the University of Tel Aviv. There is a faculty of cinema. There are schools. But at that time, 1971, there was nowhere to study cinema. Most of the Israeli filmmakers, they either went to London, to England to study, or to France, to Paris to study. They were the most popular. But I don't like European cinema, I like American cinema. I always liked Hollywood films. And I decided I'm going to Hollywood. This was 1971, to study film. So somehow I made my way up to here, to Los Angeles. Yeah, I came by myself. I was not a little kid. I was 21 or maybe even 22 after the military service. And I came all by myself with this goal in mind, to go and study how to make movies. So coming to America, I will go to film school because I like American cinema and I want to be involved in this kind of creation, American type movie making. I came by myself. I found the way to enroll in school. I went to school. I started to go to school. It was 1971 and I enrolled in a film school here. There was a film school right here in this part of town. I think it's a small college, Columbia College. I think they moved to the Valley now. They are in the somewhere in the Warner Center, somewhere in the Valley. And that's it. So I graduated, 3 years, graduated, and I was lucky enough. I started also to work at the same time. I got jobs. I worked in television station, Channel 13, and I started to work in small movies, independent movies. My parents were European, traditional people. You go to school, you learn a profession, you become an engineer, and I was already there halfway, so I was already there. But then I revolted. I didn't want to continue with the electric engineering. My parents were open, but yes, you're right. They could not. For them, it was hard to grasp why somebody with like a profession and a secured future wants to go into some kind of a business which is not secured. Nobody understands, is it a profession, is it not a profession, cinema, movie making, as well as painting or as well as singer, music or any other. So there was kind of conflict, but because we don't come from a very traditional place, it didn't matter. First of all, when I was a student here, when I was still an undergraduate, and I met a very famous Israeli producer, Menachem Golan, that later on had Canon Film. He didn't have Canon Film, and he was producing here a movie, Lepke, this movie. Tony Curtis was the star, and I met him and I asked him to join him work, and I got the job and I started to work with him. And thereafter I kept working with the same guy, with Menachem Golan. Another movie, producers, etc. And then came a chance. Anyway, my intention was to come here to school to study cinema and to go back to Israel to work in the Israeli industry. This was my intention in the first place. So he was producing a movie in Israel. The name of the movie was Movie Diamond, Robert Shaw. So I went to Israel back with him. It was an opportunity. And then I got involved in the Israeli film industry. I was assistant director, and then I got offered another job and another job. But I was assistant director, and this was my intention anyway, to come back to Israel to make movies. It's a limited, it's not a big film industry, it's a limited. So this was the reason I went back. Because it was an opportunity and it was my intention anyway. That's what I wanted to do anyway. To join the industry, the film industry in Israel. And I was an assistant director, and I worked in Israel until 1979. For 4 or 5 years as assistant director. I was in many movies, Israeli movies, assistant director. And then I decided to come back. I got married, and my wife had the opportunity to come here for PhD. So I decided also to come together and go to graduate school, film school. I went to Loyola Marymount University. When I started with cinema, undergraduate school, graduate school, my vision of the type of movies that I will be involved in was kind of a social consciousness drama.
So different from these.
Completely different from what I ended up doing. Completely different. So this was my vision, this was the idea of what kind of movies that I will be involved in. When I went to film school, to graduate school, to Loyola Marymount, one of the requirements of the graduate school is to write and to make a short movie, up to 30 minutes, maximum 30 minutes. I wrote another movie, I wrote something. A guy comes out of prison and he's encountering all kind of injustice. But we had an idea. I met another Israeli student there, David Womark, and he wanted to produce, I wanted to direct. So I expanded the script to 1.5 hours, to full 90 pages, 100 pages. And we made this movie. It took us a long time. The name of the movie is One More Chance. It's the first movie, full feature movie I directed. I wrote it and I directed it. And let me tell you what I realized right away, that I am not a writer. Writing is a talent. You need a talent. Like you need a talent to sit in front of a piano and to play. You need a talent to do it. It's a born talent. And people are good at writing. They know how to write. They know how to construct drama, characters, different characters, put them together in a situation. And I was not good at it at all. So for the rest of my career, I'm just saying I never wrote another script. All the movies I directed, other people wrote, writers. And that's the way Hollywood works. The Hollywood tradition, every profession has a person who is expert in it. That's how Hollywood works. And when I finished this movie, One More Chance, it was accepted to some film festivals. It won some prizes, Chicago Film Festival. I went to Cannes, to Europe, to Switzerland. And then this company was formed, Canon Film. It was the same people who I met before, which I was assistant director working for them, Menachem Golan and Yoram Globus. And they took my movie, One More Chance, for distribution. It was a company, the distribution company. And once they did it, they came to me with an offer. So here we have a movie. The name of the movie is Revenge of the Ninja. Can you direct it? I said, sure, of course I can direct it. But they said, well, you know, what we need as a company, as a producer, we need a movie with a lot of action. You make a movie with a lot of action. I didn't know anything about action, nothing. So, but you know, what am I to say? I'm ambitious, young man, want to be a director, and I was sure I'll make a movie for you guys with action. Don't you worry. So they gave me the job. So here I go. There was a script. I did not write the script. They gave me a script. There was a script. Revenge of the Ninja was the name of the script. I didn't know what is a ninja. I didn't know. I never watched a martial art movie in my life. I never saw a martial art movie in my life before. I didn't understand the genre. What are we going to do here? Luckily enough, the star of the movie, his name was Sho Kasugi, Japanese. He was a martial artist. He was in the first movie, Revenge of the Ninja. So he took me under his wings and he started to explain me and to show me what is martial art, what is martial art movies. You know, most of martial art movies are coming from Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, there is a big industry of Chinese martial art movies. They call them the Kung Fu movies. And he started to show me these movies. He took me to screenings, to saw these kind of movies. And so I saw it and I told myself, well, basically it's an action movie. It's just different type of action. Instead of people punching each other, they use swords or whatever, different kind of moves. But basically it's an action movie. It's a James Bond in a different way. And James Bond was what we grew up with. This was my action movies, was James Bond. And the other thing I wanted to do immediately is not to make a martial art movie like the Hong Kong, like the Chinese movies, but I wanted to mix. I want to make some martial art and some James Bond. Let's call it James Bond. Regular action. James Bond action. And we made this mixture of this movie. That's how I constructed this movie. But again, the script was not mine. The story was not mine. Somebody else wrote the script. And we finished the movie, we finished the editing, and the movie was apparently successful enough, good enough that a big company, MGM, distribution company, saw the movie and they wanted to distribute it.